Are you ready to vibe? You're listening to Creepy Vibes Only. Oh, hello! How's it going, guys?
Happy Monday!
Monday Fun Day! Oh my god.
How are you?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm good.
You know what we haven't done?
What?
What's keeping you up at night?
Ooh. Well.
Like I said, I think we actually did it last week. Last episode.
No, we skipped it last episode. We did the episode before.
Oh,
I don't have anything, but you know what I can do? I can Google a creepy fact for us.
Oh, that's fun.
Creepy facts. About Canada.
Oh, love that. Love that for us. Canada, what's creepy?
13 creepy facts that you didn't know about Canada.
Oh, I love that for us.
Reader's Digest.
Oh, what up, Reader's Digest?
Is there anything good?
Hard to say.
Wait,
I'm being kept up at night.
Facts.
Are
By
there-
whom? By what? By
Literally-
what is the good question?
Always the same thing. Audiobooks. I listen to audiobooks and instead of sleeping. Because they're entertaining to
I
me.
don't know how you can do that.
We've talked about this. I only fall asleep to very specific podcasts, being My Brother and Me, and The Adventure Zone, by the soothing voices of the McElroys. Otherwise, I literally lie in bed listening to whatever podcast du jour I'm enjoying.
I can't. If
Not
there's
podcast.
talking, it distracts me from sleeping.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I don't sleep because I do that.
Oh yeah.
C'est la pointe.
Okay, I have a creepy fact for you.
Oh, late on us.
You ready?
Yeah.
A human head remains conscious for about 20 seconds after being decapitated.
20 seconds. That long.
Yeah.
Sam, Ashley, please confirm.
I mean, how would they know though? Are you talking the head? You alive? You alive?
Hey, buddy, what's up?
Okay.
What's up? What's up? Blink, 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 blink. Yeah, how would you test that? Would you put brain who are you decapitating to test this science? CDC? I want answers.
So
/ health can? Is this you?
You know what? I think I'm gonna start doing. I'll keep creepy facts for us.
I love that.
New trend, guys.
Guys,
Revolving.
hashtag creepy facts with 3 vibes only.
Oh yeah, send us creepy facts.
Send us anything.
Yeah.
Just we like your attention.
Yeah, we want you guys to interact with us. Let us know
Steph
what
is
you want.
very sad when I send her stupid answers to things. so
Yeah, she's looking at the fucking answers, and so
it's always
stupid.
dumb stuff. It's my favorite font.
I'm sleeping.
I mean, I was actually just waking up when I sent that, so kind of accurate.
So thank you for the ones who did participate.
Yeah.
Emma.
Listen, here for a fun time.
Yeah.
Okay, guys.
We have a good one for you.
Yeah, mine's not terribly long, but I'm gonna talk about something that is a huge piece of pop culture.
I also have my first part 1, part 2. I think it's our first part 1, part 2 of the podcast.
Ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
It's a big moment.
It's funny. We've been talking about stuff covering this for literally months.
Yeah. And
I have the audacity today to be like, so what are you actually covering, Steph? You haven't told me.
I'm very excited, also very nervous because I need to do it justice.
You'll do great.
Yeah.
You always do great.
But I'm ready for your story.
Sorry, you do well. Superman does good. I love that quote. Grammar. Okay, I mean, I'm going very base level with this. Shout out to Ranker, BBC, Wikipedia, CDC, the CDC,
Wow.
and Scientific American for the information I have picked out on zombies.
Very fun.
I love zombies.
It's right before Halloween too. It's perfect time.
Yeah, it's so with Halloween in mind. Most of my favorite. So I love makeup.
Yes.
I think it's very fun. It's one of my random secret talents. As someone who I never wear makeup.
Yeah.
Like, Steph is looking at me right now, and I have
Well, no, like, you're the person who like never actually wears it, but has a shit ton of makeup.
And I'm good at it.
You are.
I'm very good
when
at it.
When you do wear it, you're very good at it.
Hashtag humble. Hashtag blessed. Hashtag. Hidden talents. Yeah, I love makeup. My like one of my absolute favorite style of Halloween makeup is zombie makeup, because you can do so much with, like, there's like pop art zombie makeup, there's like realistic, there's like super graphic, like there's so much you can do with it.
Makeup is very cool.
Makeup is fascinating. Like,
Halloween is like makeup set. Halloween is just good all around.
Halloween is everything. Anyways,
it's
I digress.
Sadly coming to an end close.
Rip. Our favorite time of year.
Yeah.
Spooky season. Almost as great as Virgo season. Close second. I guess it's Libra season is how it's spooky season.
I think so. I don't.
Because it's Libras than Scorpios. Scorpios are more like, I think maybe it is Scorpio season. Let's go November.
Yeah, Halloween is Scorpio season because he's like November 2nd or 4th.
Yeah. Jasmine is also Scorpio. She's a big Scorpio.
Okay.
Love that for her.
I don't know much about them. Well, like aside from that being my dad. Not really into astrology as much as you are.
I don't believe in it, but I find it very interesting. Yeah. Like many other things. Like, I find the whole like notion of fascinating, but I don't think that
it's fun.
Yeah, it is fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, if I meet someone and they're like, my house is such and such and my whatever's and whatever. But
okay.
I'd be like, wow.
My house is on that street.
Yeah, my house is on a foundation. Anyways, I keep digressing. We're gonna talk about zombies for a bit. So what do you think of when I say zombie stuff?
I think of oh my god.
Oh my god. Steph is crying.
That was scary.
Okay.
I'm not okay.
Oh my god, Steph is going through it.
Okay, zombies.
So when I say zombies before your life flashes before your eyes again, what do you think of?
The Walking Dead.
Love that. Very fun.
And I don't watch it, but my mom is obsessed with it.
Oh, I love that.
So that's why I know of it. I don't watch it.
Yeah,
it's the weirdest show ever.
I feel like it's a bit scary for you.
Yeah, if a dog can scare me.
Yeah, Steph is not the one to watch horror movies. When Steph got here today, I was like, have you watched Squid Game? And she was like, no.
Never again.
Yeah. That's too cool.
No, I'm not watching scary shit.
Yeah.
I will suggest them in our countdown.
You're doing a great job of that.
But I won't watch them. I will watch Beetlejuice. That's craziest I go.
Beetlejuice. I'd love to watch that.
So good.
Okay. So the undead, right?
Yes.
It's like a corporeal form holding an undead creature.
Mm-hmm.
And typically it's the reanimation of a corpse. So the term actually does come from Haitian folklore. Okay. And in their system of beliefs, a zombie is a dead body that it has been brought back, like reanimated through usually like magic and like voodoo.
Okay.
And then obviously more kind of like contemporary and modern depictions of the reanimation do not necessarily involve magic, but can be like more like sci-fi. So like diseases, radiation, parasites, pathogens, scientific accidents, like anywhere from like the whole like Resident Evil virus thing to The Walking Dead. I think The Walking Dead's also a virus. So's World War Z.
That movie with Will Smith and the dog.
Oh, what's that called? Steph's Googling it.
Will Smith.
That movie was so sad. I went with like a bunch of my friends from high school. Like it was in high school, I think, when it came out. And I actually like bawled in the theater.
I Am Legend.
I Am Legend, yes.
2007.
Spoiler, it's very sad.
Yeah.
I can't think of any that are radiation. Maybe the Chernobyl video game zombies.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then like Dawn of the Dead, where they just come back to life because hell's full or whatever.
I'm agreeing with you, but I've never seen it.
Steph's like, yes, this is all
Like,
factual.
yeah.
I could be like, and then they fell from the sky, and Steph's like, wow, fascinating.
Really, yeah.
I also love how, like, in movies, they go from, like, shambling. I think Walking Dead is more like the, like, slow, like,
Yeah.
to, like, the ones that are, like, runners. Like in 20 Days Later.
Movie? Isn't there, like, Zombie Land, something like that? Or they, like,
yeah, with
track stars?
Yeah. Is it Zombieland? She's a runner. She's a track star. That's the one that has Woody
I've
Harrelson.
Seen that one.
It's funny.
Yeah.
In any case, so the English word of zombie was first recorded in 1819. In history of Brazil by the poet Robert Southey in the form of zombie with an which is an I at the end, no E.
Okay.
And it's denoted as a word that is West African in origin, and is similar to the word Nzambi, which is Congolese for God, or Zumbi or Nzumbi, which is fetish. Yeah. And typically, like when we're talking about zombies, it's usually a Haitian or African origin.
Okay.
That's our understanding of zombies. So let's talk about the Haitian description of zombies first, and then we'll get into African. So the Haitian depiction of a zombie is, like, as mentioned, dead people who are physically reanimated by the act of necromancy, which is done by a bokor, which is a sorcerer or witch. A bokor is opposed by a hungan, which is a priest, and mambo, priestess of the formal voodoo religion. So once a bokor has been able to reanimate a zombie, that zombie then stays under their control and has no will of its own, so it acts as a slave to that bokor. The Haitian tradition also includes an incorporeal, so like an ethereal, so spirit, I guess, based type of a zombie, so which is a zombie astral. So that's part of a human soul. And the bokor can capture a zombie astral to enhance their own spiritual power. Yeah, so that astral or ethereal component can be sealed inside a specially decorated bottle by the bokor and then sold to, a client, like, or whatever, to bring luck, healing, or business success.
Oh, wow.
They also believe that God would eventually reclaim that soul. So when it's sold as a temporary entity.
Okay.
So there's like a
specified
date. Yeah. You can buy this, but eventually it'll expire.
Yeah.
One use only. In Haitian beliefs, there is a concept of soul dualism, and that's reflected by the two different kinds of zombies, so the corporeal and the ethereal versions. Okay. Each type of legendary zombie is therefore missing one half of its soul, the flesh or the spirit. God damn.
Voldemort!
The zombie belief has its roots in traditions brought to Haiti by enslaved Africans and their experiences in the New World. It's thought that the voodoo deity Baron Samedi would gather them from their grave to bring them to a heavenly afterlife in Africa, specifically Guinea, unless they had upset or offended him or otherwise committed sacrilege against him in some way, in which case they would be forever a slave after death as a zombie. They believe that zombies can be saved by feeding them salt. And some English some professors have postulated that the modern concept of zombies was strongly influenced by Haitian slavery, specifically by the interactions of slave drivers on plantations who were usually slaves themselves, and sometimes voodoo priests used the fear of zombification to discourage slaves from dying by suicide at their own hands.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's talk about the African system of beliefs of zombieism.
Okay.
So as mentioned, there's a lot of understanding that the Haitian beliefs were originally African. As we know, a lot of people were trafficked overseas from Africa and forced into slavery and other human trafficking in the Americas and into Europe. So The Central or West African origin of the Haitian zombie has been postulated based on 2 different etymologies in the Congolese language. So as mentioned, there's Zombie, which is Nzambi, which is for God, and Zumbi, which is fetish.
Okay.
This root helps form the names of several deities, including the Congo creator, deity Nzambi Ampungu, and I apologize if I mispronounced that, I've tried, and the Louisiana spirit deity, the Grand Zombie, a local version of the Haitian Dambala. It's actually a generic word for divine spirit. The common African conception of beings under these names is more consistent with the incorporeal, like that ethereal zombie,
Okay.
as in the Congo Nkisi spirits. There's a related but often incorporeal undead being, the Jumbi, which is in the English-speaking Caribbean, which is also considered to be the same etymology. In the French West Indies, there's also zombies that I recognize, but these are more of like a general, also ethereal spirit. The idea of a physical, so corporeal zombie-like creature is present in some South African culture, where they are called, I think it's Shidakchane in Sotho and Sangha, and Madakswane in Venda. And obviously, if there's a more correct way of pronouncing that, please let me know. In some communities, it's believed that a dead person can be zombified by a small child. Kids holding the power.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Look at them.
And it's said that the spell can be broken by a powerful enough Sangoma. It is also believed that some areas of South Africa that witches can create a zombie by killing and possessing the person's body in order to force it into indentured labor.
Fucking
It's slave
witches.
labor. I know.
I mean, they're wild.
Witches get stitches. Not actually like people who practice Wicca. We like you guys. My favorite subreddit is actually witches versus patriarchy. We love you guys.
It's a fun one.
It's great. After rail lines were built to transport migrant workers, stories emerged about witch trains. So these trains appeared ordinary, but in reality, their staff were entirely zombie workers, always controlled by a witch. What a wild legend.
Yeah.
These trains would abduct people boarding at night, and the person would either be beaten and thrown from the train a distance away from the other location, the original location, or they become a zombie too. Listen, staff retention. You gotta recruit sometimes. Yeah. Jesus. Okay, so now we're gonna talk about the different ways you can become a zombie.
Oh, fun. Take notes.
Take notes, guys. This is round 2 of the demonic possessions. How do you become a zombie? So there's the chemical way. So Wade Davis was a Harvard ethnobotanist, and he presented a pharmacological case for zombies in 1983. So actually postulating how zombies could be.
Okay.
He went to Haiti in 1982, and based on his investigations, claimed that someone could be becoming a zombie by 2 special powders being introduced into their bloodstream, typically through a wound. So the first chemical, specifically powder, was coup de poudre.
Coup de poudre?
Coup de poudre.
Okay.
So powder strike, which is French, as Stephanie quickly
screamed at you.
And it includes a tetrodotoxin, which is a powerful and frequently fatal neurotoxin found in the flesh of pufferfish.
Oh.
So fugu on yugu. Sorry, I thought that was really funny in my head.
Like, what?
Steph is like looking at me, like wiping her eyes, like, I'm sorry. What?
Still traumatized from earlier.
Yeah, Steph is still getting past Lewis attacking her verbally. So basically, the second is a powder that consists of drugs that induce delirium, such as datura. So these powders were said to create a death-like state, and in this state, the victim would be entirely subjected to that of the bokor, so that individual creating the zombie that we talked about earlier. In Haiti, and in Haitian systems of beliefs. Davis also proposed the story of Clairvius Narcisse, who was claimed to have actually succumbed to that practice. The most ethically questioned and least scientifically explored ingredient of the powders is part of a recently buried child's brain.
Okay.
Just throwing that in there.
Hmm.
So Davis basically describes a process that was initial state of like death-like suspended animation, followed by a period of kind of like reawakening, so coming back from it. Typically after being buried into a psychotic state.
Okay.
So the drug would have induced psychosis and psychological trauma, and Davis hypothesized that it was to reinforce culturally learned beliefs and to cause the person who had gone through that process to then adopt an identity as that of a zombie, since they would have then known that they were dead and had no other role to fulfill within their society.
Okay.
So like you can see like by like going through that trauma and like coming out of the dirt, they're like, oh shit, I'm a zombie now. I guess I have to do zombie stuff.
Might as well. You're there.
Yeah, totally.
Be one of them.
And then society, because other people who would have seen them go through it would then reinforce that belief, like, oh, there's Steph, she's a zombie. You'd be like, yeah, I'm Steph, I guess I am a zombie. Everyone's saying I'm a zombie. I rose from the fucking earth. A plus B equals C.
Fake it till you make it.
Yeah. So Davis's claims have been criticized.
Really? Why?
Particularly the suggestion that Haitian witch doctors can keep zombies in a state of pharmacologically induced trance for many years. Tetrodotoxin symptoms range from numbness and nausea to paralysis, and so particularly you go through paralysis of muscles of the diaphragm, which is how you breathe, and unconsciousness and death. But they don't actually cause like a stiffened gait the way like we think of zombies walking, like kind of Frankenstein walk. Yeah, or a death-like trance. And according to a psychologist named Terrence Hines, the scientific community typically is like, no, Davis, you're fucking wrong. And that's just no. So now we'll talk a little bit about like the social creation of zombies.
Okay.
Oop. Oh god, I just closed my notes for a second. Oh, we're good now. Okay. So a Scottish psychiatrist named Artie Lang highlighted there was a link between like the social and cultural expectations and compulsion.
Okay.
And specifically in the context of schizophrenia and other mental illness, suggesting that wow, one second, that's a word. Schizogenesis may account for some of the psychological aspects of zombification. Specifically, he postulates that schizophrenia can manifest a state of catatonia.
Yeah.
You see where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
Because Steph actually knows about this kind of stuff. Roland Littlewood, who was a professor of anthropology and psychiatry, published a study supporting the social explanation of the zombie phenomenon in the medical journal The Lancet in 1997, so a bit more contemporary. I say that as if it wasn't 23 years ago and that it was like yesterday, which is like also breaking my brain that 1997 was that long ago. So there's a bit of a link between the two because they all, like both Davis's chemical postulation and the social explanation, they both observe cases of people identified as zombies as a culture-bound syndrome, like the reinforcement of the previous one, and them going to their cultural beliefs. With a particular cultural form of adoption practiced in Haiti that unites homeless and mentally ill with grieving families who see them as returned lost ones. So basically, they believe that, like, let's say a member of your family died and a homeless person who looked a lot like that member of your family, you were like, oh my god, it's so-and-so. And they're like, am I?
Okay.
I guess so, if they're catatonic.
Yeah.
So Littlewood summarizes his findings in an article, Times Higher Education. This is all verbatim from him. I came to the conclusion that although it is unlikely that there is a single explanation for all cases where zombies are recognized by locals in Haiti, the mistaken identification of wandering mentally ill strangers by bereaved relatives is the most likely explanation in most cases. People with chronic schizophrenic illness, brain damage, or learning disability are not uncommon in rural Haiti, and they'd be particularly likely to be identified as zombies. So those are the two kind of main ways that people try to explain the presence of zombies in Haitian culture and in that belief. I imagine reality is something, maybe a mix of the two or something different, but just how Westerners...
I'm like digesting right now.
Yeah, I know. I mean, we all, I think anyone listening would probably agree that they are a fictional entity.
No, they're real.
Okay.
That's what our podcast is about. Only true things.
Okay. But it's interesting to see how people specifically...
I can see the connection, but still at the same time, like, it's a stretch.
Yeah, I imagine the truth is somewhere in between.
Because, like, catatonic does not... Like, someone who's catatonic, you would be like, zombie.
Mm-hmm. So now I'm going to quickly talk to you about a couple of times where people acted like zombies.
Oh.
Yeah, fun.
Fun.
Not fun. Oh, you're going to hate this.
Someone ate someone, didn't they?
Literally, that is in the title. This is from Ranker. Thank you, Ranker. Florida college student stabs strangers, eats their faces.
Why?
Of course it was Florida.
Yeah. That's the why.
Yeah, it was, I mean, it's very Florida. So in August 2016, Austin Haroof, who is a college student, was 19 at the time, he stormed away from a restaurant. This was in Jupiter, Florida, and he'd been having dinner with his parents. Apparently, he was in a huff because he had slow service there. He then made his way into a neighborhood, and he came upon a couple, John Stevens III and Michelle Michon, and they were in their garage with the door open, and they were just chilling. They were just having a quiet evening. And then, without so much as a single bit of provocation, Haroof then produced a switchblade, stabbed them to death, and when a neighbor tried to, like, intervene and call 911, they were also stabbed by by Haroof. Once the police got there, they were greeted with quite the scene. Haroof was naked. He was ripping away flesh from the couple, and he was consuming it.
Just go to McDonald's.
And acting like an animal, making some crazy animal noises.
So he did that because he had slow service and didn't eat at the restaurant?
I guess. He was like,
And there's no fast food around? There's no, like...
Well, that's quite...
Just storm in the kitchen and grab a bread roll?
You think that's quite the escalation. 0 to attacking people and eating them.
What the fuck?
I mean, clearly there was some wild shit going on with him.
I would hope so.
The cops... wild to me that he didn't get shot in the States, because people get shot for doing absolutely nothing in the States.
What color was he?
I don't actually know. It doesn't say.
That could explain.
Yep. So they repeatedly used stun guns and a police dog, but it did not dissuade him from his acts. They say meal in the article, and I'm not going to call people a meal. But it took 3 police officers to pull him away from the bodies. The fact that, like, he survived that is wild to me.
He must have been on shit.
You think. What they just, like, so prior to this wild crime, he was a model student. It's always like, it's like Em and Christine say on ATWD. It's a pillar of the community. Yeah. He was a model student who seemed to have his shit together. And apparently he had been hanging with some of his frat brothers, because he was, of course, in a frat prior to this dinner. And his tox report actually came back clean.
What?
There were test reports for other dogs that were pending at the time of this report, but he displayed no other symptoms that were consistent with substances like bath salts, and we've heard about people having bath salts and, like, doing things like this. And unfortunately, police were, I guess, left baffled, as they say, by this crime.
So no, we don't know.
They don't know.
They didn't do a psych eval.
I imagine they did. It wasn't mentioned in the article I found, though, and I didn't want to keep reading about it.
That was insane.
So my next one of people acting like zombies. So this one is also from Florida. because it's Florida. Florida, are you okay?
No, they're not.
You guys have DeSantis, and
Maybe they're fine. They're used to this shit. This doesn't,
Well, their governor's also a maniac.
Yeah.
Florida, blink twice. Some help from Canada. Okay, so this is referred to in the Ranker article as the infamous Miami cannibal attack. So this happened back in May 2012, 9 years ago. Over
That's
9 years
insane.
ago. We are ancient
2012.
crones.
We are.
It's 2021.
Crazy.
Anyways. Okay, so Miami's own Rudy Eugene got naked. I'm sorry, there's more face eating in this one.
Oh my God,
I'm so sorry,
why?
Steph. Because people acting like zombies do gross things. You know what? Next episode, I will not talk about cannibalism.
Sure.
As I promised you. Okay, so he attacked Ronald Popo, who was a man experiencing homelessness.
Okay.
And ate about 80% of his face.
Holy fucking shit! No one intervened.
Well,
He got 80.
When police got to the incident,
Like he fucking munched fast.
yeah. So he got shot.
Okay.
When police got to the scene, they opened fire on Eugene, who was belligerently eating poor.
I mean, not that we
Ronald's
want
face.
people to get shot, but like, poor dude.
Yeah. It's said that he took far more bullets than his body should have been able to take before he actually died and collapsed. It was postulated that he ingested bath salts or even PCP, but his tox reports actually only came back with a little bit of marijuana in his system, which definitely I don't think would cause that. It's fucking pot. You'd go take a nap.
Yeah.
You'd be like, I'm floating.
It's scary the fact that there's really no reason why.
Mm-hmm. His attack on Popo is still a mystery. Or Popo. What's P-O-P-B? I don't know. But poor him. That's so sad.
I wouldn't know how to pronounce it. I don't know how to pronounce half of the words.
Poor Ronald. Poor guy.
It's sad and it's scary. I want to go home now.
I've had enough. But yeah, that's zombies.
That's it?
Well, there was another story, but it was a little kid dying, and I don't want to talk about that.
Oh, no.
No.
Oh.
Zombies! Zombies are
so fun.
Thanks, Steph.
Good job.
That's okay. During a summer nice and sunny and fun, I'm sure you got a really happy story for us. What's your story again? I've only addressed this 18 times today. Also, Steph today was texting me. She's like, "I'll come at 3:30." I was like, "Oh, are you coming today?"
My heart stopped. Was like, "What?
This motherfucker!"
I'm like, we need to record. We have an episode coming out in 2 days.
I was happy. I was like, okay.
I was so confused in that moment.
Listen, I had woken up at 11 because Lewis was up all night. I was like, what?
The whole
I was so
I'm
excited.
trying to connect the dots. I'm like, we've talked about getting candy for this recording
I
session.
literally did. I literally
I don't know why she's confused.
I'm always confused.
It's our state.
Oh my god.
All right.
I'm so excited, Steph.
So I'm going to make things better.
I've been looking forward to this for months.
All right. So as we mentioned earlier, I'm going to do part 1 and part 2 because I didn't want to do too long. And this story is special. Actually, I decided to do this story because my good friend Gordon, he's the one who asked me to do it. So I've been doing the research. I'm hoping that I do it justice, but there's a shit ton of material. There's so much. The note taking was chaotic, so I'm not going to touch on everything that I possibly could, and we could revisit this in the future. But I will talk about Slender Man.
Yes, finally.
So, Slender Man, who is he? So he's basically this supernatural creature whose appearance and powers vary between accounts. So there's there's a general consensus, but it changes all the time. So for those who don't know who Slender Man is, he is this humanoid creature that can be between 6 to 14 feet tall. Sometimes so he's been 16, so he's fucking tall.
Tall boy.
Very tall.
16 feet tall, sorry.
Yeah. That's insane.
Jesus. Okay.
So he usually will, because he's fancy, he's going to
Fancy boy.
wear a black or gray suit
Fun.
with a white shirt underneath and a black or red tie.
Do you think him and the Hat Man are friends?
Probably. They're like business buds.
Yeah, and the Men in Black.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
We're connected. So he has a bald head, and his face, it can either be completely white or has just no facial features.
Cool.
Because, it's nice.
It's not unsettling at all.
His hands, normal looking, but with very, very long and bony fingers.
That's normal.
That can sometimes be described as sharp as swords.
Super normal.
It's super normal.
So normal.
It's cool.
It's great. We love it.
So since he is a tall boy, he has extremely long arms and extremely long legs. Basically, picture a human on stilts, but that's just a whole person.
He's like the opposite of Donald Trump.
Yeah.
He's a long boy.
Cool feature.
Love it.
He sometimes has tentacles that come out of his body. Just for extra.
Would you
multitasking.
Also say he's slender?
Oh.
Sorry.
Moving on. So yeah, see, they basically pop out whenever he needs them, but normally you wouldn't really notice them.
Yeah.
So he does have different names around the world.
Around the world.
He's known as the Operator.
Love that for him.
The Thin Man.
Mm-hmm.
The Tall Man. Mr. Slim.
Mr. Slim.
It's Eminem.
Slim Shady.
The Administrator. Daddy Long Legs.
Ew.
Slendy.
Oh, I like Slendy for him. I've called him that.
And Der Grossman.
The Grossman. Is that
Yeah.
German?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Him. So, we know what his name and what he is. But what does he do?
What does he do?
So, his main way to attack is passive aggressive. That's his main. His preferred way to get his victims. So, step one, he will stalk his victims for days or months or years.
Oh, he's invested.
Yeah. During the stalking, he will get very close to them. They will know that he's following. And he basically does it to torture them mentally.
Wow, what a dedicated, nice guy.
Yeah. And his end goal is to make them just go completely mad. So he, in them, creates insomnia, paranoia, mind control, and just make sure he, ensures that they're extremely terrified.
Wow.
Yeah.
So giving.
I know.
Slendy.
Yeah.
Chef's kiss.
So basically, whenever he stalks his victims from the accounts that when they talk about it, you can run as fast as you want. You can take whatever detours. You can try to trick him. He will always be behind you, just following along. So,
great.
Yeah, he's always behind you. He's always there. Also, victims who have encountered him or been stalked by him also experience something called Slender Sickness or the Sickness.
Are you down with the sickness?
So, symptoms of the sickness or Slender Sickness include paranoia, coughing fits, coughing up blood, vomiting, nausea, extreme exhaustion, bloody nose, fever, and amnesia.
It sounds like COVID mixed with bad anxiety or tuberculosis or something.
When I was obviously researching this on the website where they're talking about the symptoms, there was a little blurb which I thought was funny they had to make of if you are experiencing these, go see a doctor.
Yeah,
and then a little tidbit at the end. If you're a hypochondriac, don't read this. It's not funny, but it's funny.
Is that Nita funny?
So, In addition to causing the sickness, he also does have other powers. So Slender Man is attributed the power to teleport, to mind control, also distort videos and photos.
Okay.
And the distortion theories argue that it's because there's this, he either has some radiation inside of him, or he creates a radiation, or it's his energy, but he emits, if that's the word, radiation, and that causes a sickness and also fucks with your photos and videos if you're trying to make one.
Mr. Chernobyl over here.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So, the thing is, causing the sickness or driving that is not the only way that he gets to his people.
Would you say it has something to do with his tentacles?
He may
Perhaps
have.
his knife fingers?
He's versatile.
He's got like a toolkit.
Yeah. So, with his tentacles and his long-ass body, he has been known to impale his victims on tree branches.
Wow, so nice.
Just like, kebab them.
Oh no.
Yeah. He also uses tentacles to strangle his victims.
Hate that.
Yeah. Also, Slender Man has been associated with many kidnappings, especially of children.
Yeah.
So Slender Man, so there was no rhyme or reason as to why he chooses his victims, but there is a theory that was growing among the community that they believe that Slender will target people that reach a certain level of understanding of him. Which, once we talk more, is concerning.
Great, thank you, Steph. What a gift.
So basically, if you research about the Slender Man, or you get to know more and more, you become a victim. If you are associated with someone who knows something about Slender Man, who is stalked by Slender Man, you become a victim. Welcome to the club, guys.
God damn it, Steph. Every time.
It's my turn to curse you.
2020 would like a word.
So basically, Slender Man, where he appears, some people have stumbled upon him where in abandoned settings. So if they went to look at abandoned buildings and fucked around over there for no good reason, he's there in the woods. Blends well with the trees.
He looks like a tree.
Yeah. But then once he chooses a victim, he will be at where they're the most comfortable at. And they're the most common places. So he'll be outside your work, be outside your home, be outside your favorite Starbucks,
That's so rude. I'm trying to get a flat white.
He's just there.
He's just chilling. He's like public property.
So, as terrifying as Slender Man is and his powers and what he can do, there's another facet to Slender Man, which are called proxies.
Cool.
So proxies are people or entities under the influence or control of Slender Man.
Great.
And they are basically his slaves to meet his wants and needs.
His zombies.
Yeah.
Fun.
So the proxies basically attribute any of the physical work associated to Slender Man. So whatever that he can't do, they will do.
Better.
So they will they will destroy evidence for him. They will plant evidence for him. They will create videos and posts in his name. And this all becomes relevant at one point. But they're basically his little Twitter trolls.
Fun.
Making sure that the word of Slender Man is
actually just all of 4chan.
Yeah. And they manipulate his victims.
Fun.
So, as I mentioned before, they're mind controlled by Slender Man to be his slaves. Proxies usually are unaware of this, since once he gains control of them, he wipes their memory, and at that point, since they don't have any memory, they can't fight the mind control.
Okay.
And someone is a proxy when their personality completely shifts or they get new attributes. Specifically, they either become completely emotionless or sadistic, and that wasn't who they were before. So they either get really complete switch. And they basically worship the proxies. Slender Man is their god. They worship him.
Ew.
But if ever the proxies fail him, or he just doesn't need them anymore, they disappear.
Kebabs. Yuck. Slendy, those are your buds.
Well, not anymore.
Apparently.
They're fired. They're done.
That's really rude.
So surprisingly, I will shock everyone with this. Slender Man.
Will you?
Be ready. Slender Man was created by Eric Knudsen, also known as Victor Surge, in 2009 on specifically June 8th. As Victor, well, Surge or Knudsen, he participated in a contest called Create a Paranormal Image, and he submitted a picture of a tall figure, and that's where Slender Man was born.
I remember that picture. It's really cool.
So it's not true.
Oh my god, shocking.
But we'll talk more about this.
On this podcast? In this economy?
I know, I'm sorry. I only talk about true shit.
Oh my
god. But so basically his so it was on the something awful form, and in the contest, so he in the picture there was a tall figure next to a tree, and the figure in the picture was out of focus. And just to amp up the creepiness of it, he added a text to the picture, which I will read right now. One of the 2 recovered photographs from the Sterling City Library blaze. Notable for being taken the day which 14 children vanished, and for what is referred to as the Slender Man.
Isn't there like a bunch of kids in the front of the picture or something?
I've seen so many pictures, I don't remember.
That's okay.
We'll post it.
Yeah.
The formity is cited as filmed effects by officials. Fire at library occurred 1 week later. Actual photograph confiscating as evidence. 1986, photographer Mary Thomas missing since June 13th, 1986.
Gross.
So from that point on, a urban legend was born.
Oh yeah.
It went wild. Surge added some more images to this, added more stories, and then just people went crazy and created this entity. They would create their own images. They would create their own stories about them. They would tie Slenderman and date him back to history and folklore. There's some people that added stories where they tied Slenderman to a 16th century to Germany or 5,000 BC.
Jesus.
So like they went to work.
Slendy through the ages.
Yeah. So in an interview, Eric Knudsen, also known as Victor Surge, he talked about his influence for this character. So he specifically named the works of Stephen King, H.P. Lovecraft, and William S. Burroughs. He also drew a lot of inspiration off of Silent Hill and Resident Evil. But he said that the where he drew most of his inspiration was from Zach Parsons' That Insidious Beast story.
Yeah. Stephen
King's The Mist, and the creepypasta story The Rake.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
And then he also, grab a little bit of the Mothman, the Mad Gasser of Mattoon, and Shadow People. So he took a little bit of everything, mixed it all up, and made the Slender Man. So the one thing we all know, like the one thing that's scary about Slender Man is that we know it's fake, but sadly there's still a lot of people that do believe in this.
Yeah, a lot of people who got influenced by it.
Yeah. Like when I was looking for Reddit, like the one I was looking, there's someone had posted like, guys, we need to talk about this. Like this is really weird. I seen him, and that was posted like 9 minutes before I checked. That was this week. So there's a lot of psychology behind like why people believe it. And yes, everyone has done such a great job at building a good story behind the Slender Man, that it grew and it became such a huge thing. But also there's a lot of ties to actual folklore, mm-hmm. where stories resembling Slender Man existed before Slender Man existed.
100%.
So that's where a lot of people are like, yeah, like I guess it's fake, but like, what about this guy that's been alive forever? That's where people are unsure. People are like, for sure, yes, he's fake, but there's all of these. So when I was looking at like the folklore that was tied, not tied to Slender Man, but where had commonalities, there was like 100 of them.
Oh my god,
it was insane. So I only took down a few, not to make this like the longest episode of life. So to note a few, specifically Fae.
Mhm.
Fae have been tied to the idea of Slender Man. So when people think of Fae fairies, they have that like Tinkerbell image. They're like they grant you wishes, and in Fae folklore, yes, there are the nice ones, but some aren't so nice.
Yeah, some are kind of shitheads.
Some are mischievous. They're murderous, and Fae are specifically known for stealing children and swapping their own Fae with human families. Changelings, yes. So there's that Fae folklore with that idea of the Slenderman being responsible for like stealing kids and kidnapping kids, right? There's also from Germany the Erkling, which their Grossman was tied to. So specifically this little guy, well not little, he lives in the wood and he tries to lure children away from their parents. Same idea of Slender Man. In Japan, we have two kind of like ghost entities that resemble the Slenderman concept. I apologize if I massacre the name. One is the Noperabo. He is a faceless ghost that takes pleasure in terrifying humans. Slenderman himself. There's also Mikoshi Nyoro, who is a goblin that is tall and has a malleable body like Slenderman that loves to basically lure people into wood areas to kill them.
Super Slendy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Another one, like a cool one that I found was Babylonians. Actually,
holy shit! Way back then.
So Babylonians believed in a half-man, half-demon called Alu.
Okay.
And he would basically creep into people's bedrooms at night to terrify them. Jesus. So he would torture them mentally by terrifying them. And he would cause in those people loss of consciousness, obviously, loss of speech. And then after like having a night with this demon, they would just constantly fix in a spot and just be frozen, fixating one spot. So that's where the whole concept of like, is he really not real?
Yeah.
Because like if Babylonians believed in a concept similar, like what makes this concept new?
Yeah.
So that's where people will second guess a lot.
Yeah, and draw conclusions from like it being consistent with all those different legends and folklore.
Because they're like, oh well, if it was fake, why would like people talk about it 1,000 years ago in like 1,000 different countries? Like, why? Not 1,000 countries is not.
Well, and I imagine like confirmation bias too, right? Because listen for other people who are like, this is it, it's real.
So, since I want to keep it short, I've decided to cut my story into 2.
Oh,
I have more. And that will be for part 2 in 2 weeks. But basically, this is the introduction to Slender Man.
Slendy in the house. I love Slender Man. I'm so excited you're covering this.
So yeah.
It's crazy how like you said, like he created this like really like culturally
rich.
Rich and like consistent with so many other folklore's creatures, and like that really took off like wildfire. Like I'm sure like I'll leave it to you to talk about, like, but there's so much media and stuff around it that like,
and that's the thing, like they took one little thing and it became video games, it became movies, it became just it was everywhere.
Yeah, and so many different stories on like No Sleep and like all over the place. Like, and then you look at like people like Markiplier on YouTube who have created videos with like millions of views on like him playing Let's Plays, and like it's incredible how many people it's reached.
So it's super interesting. It's very dangerous, and that's where the danger and the scariness of Slenderman comes from.
Totally,
because there's so much potential, and as much as you're like no, it's fake, come on guys, it's fake. But like the Babylonians believed in something similar, and there's German, Ireland, Scotland, England, like there's everywhere. Like they're in North America. There's these these swamp monsters that are spider-like and that just steal people and steal children. Like there's so much commonalities everywhere that it's insane.
Oh, totally.
But yeah,
I'm excited.
More to come.
I'm excited for the next episode.
All right,
guys.
That's enough for now.
Yeah. We love you. Keep it creepy.
Yeah, so follow us on social media, subscribe, leave us a review on Apple. That'd be very, very helpful to get us out there.
Yeah, like and subscribe, guys. Tell your friends.
Yeah.
It's Halloween. It's spooky season. Be like, listen to episode X. Whatever your favorite episode is.
Mm-hmm.
There's no order to these.
Well, this one there will be an order.
Well, bang. Yeah. Okay, this one. Apart from Slendy, so far, there's no real order. There's no rhyme or reason.
No.
Yeah. All right, guys. See you
Bye.
next one. Whoop. Can't find my curse. All right. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Creepy Vibes Only. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook by searching for Creepy Vibes Only Podcast. We absolutely appreciate and love your support, and you can do so by leaving a review on Apple Podcasts and subscribing to the show wherever you listen. If you wish to get in touch with us, you can send us an email at cvopodcast@gmail.com or leave us a voice message on our podcast's page on Anchor. We will talk to you in 2 weeks. Bye.